And the adventure is Bhagini Lagan Kara.
Yeah. That still stays an adventure, thankfully.
You're giving so much to Surat.
Surat's given a lot to us, but none of us knew about it before.
Hello, Kemcho. Welcome to Women of Ajiliyaa, the podcast that celebrates the strength and resilience of women. I am your host, Ajita Italiya, the owner and creative director of Ajiliyaa, and today we have an exciting guest with us. She is a writer in Times of India, a champion for women's voices, and a true storyteller. Please give a warm welcome to Ashleshaa Khurana. Hello, Ashleshaa. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hi, the pleasure is all mine, as always, visiting Ajiliyaa. Thank you for having me.
So now there are round of questions, and I'm sure it's going to be exciting because there's so much inside you that we want to hear today. All the creativity and all the fashion that we want to know about. So let's get started. So you majored in child psychology and fashion designing.
That's right.
So what inspired you to choose such different fields of study?
Okay, so one was the occupation that I might have taken up, and the other was because of passion for fashion, just like you. But anyhow, I just did the diploma and didn't do proper college because I ran away from home and got married.
Oh!
Today all the secrets are out, cats out of the bag now. Yeah. So there was a huge and vast library at home which we referred to for reading. And that is what actually got me into my present profession.
Wow. And the adventure is Bhagini Lagan Kara.
Yeah. That still stays an adventure, thankfully.
I know, you need some excitement. Okay. So what led you to focus on heritage and history in your writing? Like, I mean, we are very well aware of your writing and so much of knowledge about the heritage, and I feel even that is your passion.
Right.
The way you write up and all.
Yes.
So, like, what led you to focus on that?
Okay, thanks for the compliments. And I didn't study history as a subject. I was good at it, better at it than I was at maths, terrible at maths. But once I started writing the column for Surat, which was basically because they were looking for somebody to write on culture and trends, there came an occasion where there was a anniversary of the fort of Surat.
Okay.
And at the same time, SMC was trying to bring down the heritage bridge, which was hopeful. And I started reading about it and realized that there's a lot of literature about Surat written by the British and in a very disciplined fashion. But there were hardly any Indian writers who had written about the history of Surat. Right now also, the Gujarati text that we have on the history of Surat is basically just a translation of those works of the Englishmen. So I started reading about it with the London Library, and that is how I got to know about our rich past history and began writing about that. Then the column picked up so well because a lot of professors, doctors, engineers would give feedback to the paper that we really enjoy reading. And it became so popular that we ran it for 2 years and then we converted it into a book on Surat's heritage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're giving so much to Surat.
Surat's given a lot to us, but none of us knew about it before. So just bringing it out in the open now.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. Tell us about your column that you spoke about, Surat, that's in TOI, and how it has evolved. Like you went through it, but then
so
more elaborating.
Okay, all right. So this is in 2007. The Times of India Ahmedabad edition was looking for a writer out of Surat to write more about Surat because they hardly had anybody who would report back even the stories or the news that was happening. And they had put in an advertisement, and I responded via email, and they immediately got back and said, can you describe Surat in an essay format? And I wrote it back to them and they said, okay, this is Surat, which we have a column and we'd love for you to write it. So I said, okay, why not? So I began writing about trends, fashion, food, because there's a lot of street food
Yeah.
in Surat, and there's a lot of distinct Surat exclusive food like pog, hari.
Yeah.
That also has a lot of history which people didn't know about, or the process on which it finally got onto their table from the kitchen. So as we started getting a lot of reader feedback regarding the column, it kept on continuing into various subjects, and every week that was very regular. For 10 years, every Monday was like Khubsurat Day, and people kept on thinking, are you making these stories up, or does Surat
Is it,
really
yeah.
have so much to offer?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, you can double check anytime you want and pick up any book on history or related to the food, and you'll know. So it's still going on after all these years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and there is so much inside you
Okay.
that we get to know,
Right.
like regarding whether, like we say heritage or literature or fashion. I mean, there's always so much inside you that we get to know.
Right.
How is it possible?
I think a lot of it comes from a lot of reading, because when I was younger, there wasn't the social network or
Yeah.
Instagram, but there were a lot of magazines available, and also books available, and travel. So I guess my parents played a major role in ensuring that we got a little bit of everything into our personalities,
Right.
and learnt everything that surrounded us, whatever country or city that we were in.
But still, I mean, even though a person would be into reading, no one can compare with you.
So,
I mean,
that's because I'm one without a degree now.
no.
So that's not to read. I don't have a formal degree.
So I can share that. Same here.
Okay. But now we're educating people because you're
Same
teaching them
here.
fashion.
I mean, I've just studied 12th
Right.
and I got married.
Yeah.
And then I got kids at an early age.
Yeah.
And then I pursued hotel management and, image consulting.
Wow. Okay.
Like after both the kids.
Wow, how inspiring is that,
So
and
that is what degree
non-formal
nahi hai.
degree. Yeah, that's what people ask me, what are you doing here? I said I wanted to be an astronaut, but then gravity stuck, so I made the most of what was available on Earth.
You are a fashion icon.
Yeah,
That
okay.
we all
Thank
know.
you. If you say so, coming from you, I'll take it as a compliment.
Of course, definitely. So how would you define fashion?
Okay, fashion A is passion, but it is also very individual. Usually people think that following somebody is fashionable, because that's trending. But I believe that setting a style is more fashionable, because then you'll have other people who will want to follow you.
Yeah.
And that is, for me, it comes from the heart, and it plays with everybody's minds.
Yeah, I know. Like every individual is different. So,
Right.
I mean, you should just be you.
Yeah,
And naturally it would come out.
true,
Right?
true. And that would be original.
Yeah. And having that confidence, I mean, to carry anything, it's
Yes.
not just brands,
Right.
but I mean,
Yeah,
you can
because
just-
you'll have 10 different people wearing the same thing,
Same
but
thing.
it'll look 10
Yes.
different ways on all 10 of them.
Yeah.
And it would not matter how tall, short, fair,
Yeah.
or dark they are, or, how thin or obese they are. It'll just be very individual.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not like what you wear, but it's like how you
How
wear.
you wear it. Yeah, that's what you always tell me, that it is how you carry the look.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're wearing.
And we always love all the looks that you put up together. I'm always excited
you.
that how will you put up this outfit together? I'm waiting for the look.
Thank you. I think that also involves having a lot of free time on hands these days.
So, what do you find most rewarding about your career?
Okay, when it would come to writing, is that because I didn't have any formal education or college degree, through my writing, I got to reading, and that is how I got to educate myself. And also now I teach at colleges. So although I didn't attend one, so that is like a great matter of pride, that I educated myself well enough to educate others.
Wow.
And I think that's the best reward ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
You feel, I mean, like when we say that, education is definitely important, but
Right.
then I feel the passion is more important about, knowing
True.
things.
True. Curiosity and, just the zest of learning more
Learning
things
and more
constantly
things.
at any age. It doesn't even,
Yeah.
require to be some kind of written education. It can also be a learning of philosophical thoughts or
Yeah.
spiritual thoughts.
Yeah,
And that really matters, I guess.
absolutely. So can you share a challenging moment in your work as a writer or educator?
I think the challenging moment as educator is sometimes trying to convince the parents of the children to let them pursue what they want, because a lot of time schools and colleges ask me to come for counseling, and the usual issue with the child who's troubled in their mind is because of the parental pressure of what the parents think is right for them. And the child, no matter whether he's 6 or 16, is always considered not old enough to make that decision for herself or himself. The most challenging thing about my profession as an educator is educating the parents. With writing, fortunately, it's like in my mind already. So the tough part in writing is when I have a thought, I have to pen it down immediately. I always tell this to upcoming and budding writers who ask me for advice. I tell them that always pen down, on your Microsoft Word or in your diary, because that one thought of framing of words that sets in one point of time may not repeat itself, no matter how hard you try. So that's one challenge I face. I don't know whether it's age or related to just having a mind that thinks too much, but I need to write it down immediately, otherwise I tend to forget what I had in mind to write.
Right. So there are like so many things popping up in your mind.
Right. Yeah.
And all the time it's just going on. The idea is
that's actually, put it in a pictorial form. It actually looks like that to me when I'm thinking.
I can relate a lot with that, because I'm all the time thinking of something, something like what next, to be done.
Right.
So I can relate.
This happens,
that.
I think it's something to do with our minds. Too much content for this much space.
What are some of your favorite historical facts or stories about Surat? What fascinates about Surat?
Okay, this could end up going like through the entire evening, because when I begin teaching at the colleges also regarding history and heritage, the thing about Surat is that you take any subject, you take the Mughal history, you take the European history, you take pirates of the Arabian Sea or Caribbean Sea, it's all related to Surat in some way or the other. Because this was the principal port of the Mughal emperors, and the main income from Surat was what generated the coffers for the Mughal army. We've got Shivaji's raids to prove how wealthy the city was. After that, the English began their first factory from Surat, because she was the princess of the seas, because it was such a prominent port. So all the history related to the Britishers also begins from here. The important fact is that the Indian Navy was born in Surat.
Is it?
Yeah, because Suvali had the first fight of the Britishers against their enemies, and that is what was named the East India Navy, after which it became the Indian Navy. So the roots of the Indian Navy is here.
I never knew that.
The Britishers tasted tea and punch over here. So we keep on saying British tea parties and the Waldorf Astoria when we go to London, but this is where their ancestors first came and tasted the tea. The textile is so important because it went to the royalties all around the world. So when it comes to history and heritage, we have several stories which either begin from Surat or have a very strong Surat connect. And this is valued around the world in museums, because so much of our stories and even elements of art have gone and sailed across, but it's not very well known within India itself, unfortunately. But that's changing now. We have the fort coming up, and we're going to have not only, I'm on the committee for the fort. So we're going to have not only our history given out in a very organized format with a light and sound show, but also a very futuristic element to what was going to happen in Surat for the next 15-20 years. So we're very wealthy that way in terms of history, and we can celebrate that endlessly.
And obviously it's said that Kashi nu Maran and Surat nu
Jaman.
Jaman.
Yes, and we have history and wealth in our food also. We are like globally modernizing all our old treats also, not only in terms of taste but also in terms of packaging. So now we have the Surat Khaja going to America, we have Socio going to Canada. So we're going international food wise also.
Oh my God, there's so much from you. I mean, we can say you are a live Google.
Yeah, so I had a nickname in school. They used to call me Dictionary, because when I shifted from Bombay to Surat, my English was more elaborate than
Right.
my co-students. So whenever teacher used to ask something like a spelling or a meaning of a word, I would immediately know it because of my reading. And they all call me Dictionary. Now they call me Encyclopedia. So,
But they are right. Absolutely right.
I try not to let them go wrong. At the cost of not sounding very modest. Conversation, these people are going to think these people are so full of themselves.
No, no, even nothing.
Fule nahi samare.
Okay. So, can you share a fun fact or hidden talent about yourself? I know.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I can answer one. Of
Okay, all right.
That's what I said. I mean, you have the true sense for fashion. That's the hidden
thank you.
talent.
Yeah, all right.
The way you put up things, combining. I mean, even if an old outfit
Right.
with a new
Yeah.
accessory or something like that, I mean, you combine it so well and you put it
See,
up so well.
that comes from work, because since I was 15 years old, I used to do a job. My chauffeur used to drive me to the boutique and drive me back home. But I used to do a job at a store called Libas, and I
Okay.
ended up meeting my husband there and marrying him.
Mhm.
So that is something which interested me, because also I'd studied fashion. But hidden fun fact is I'm a Visharad in Bharatnatyam and Shastriya Sangeet.
Oh, that I never knew.
Not practiced any longer, but I am a Visharad
Oh,
in
wow.
both those subjects, which I don't think anybody knows about. That much.
See, we're getting all the talent.
Yeah, all the secrets are popping out of the skeletons out of the
But
closet
it's
today.
so good to know all this today. I mean, it's
You
surprising.
also caught me off guard. I didn't know what was coming up till I saw the form, and I said, "Okay, there's a lot of questions going to come up." Yeah, so that's
No, but it's
something I
really
don't
good.
think hardly anybody knows about these two things.
So, I mean, see, like as you said, you don't have a degree, but still,
Right.
you are into so many things.
Right.
That is what, we need, like a lot of us need to learn that, when you follow your passion
Right.
with some creativity, and thoughtfulness,
Right.
I mean, you can achieve a lot of things, no?
True, true. And it helps in whatever you do when you're a multifaceted personality. I think it also comes from the upbringing. So these days, a lot of parents are pretty laid back. We had parents who were like, આ બધું તો શીખવાનું જ છે, પછી time બચે તો જે કરવું હોય તે કરજો. And I'm grateful and thankful to them, because I know my children might be very different, because I've raised them as a very casual, laid back, modern parent about, okay, do whatever you wish. But now I think on hindsight that have I done the right thing or not? So you never know with parenting. It's like,
Yeah. But I feel today's generation is very sensible.
Yes, and they're very clear about what they want to do and where they want to go, and we give them the options. So I think that's a good thing to do as well.
And eventually, they've been watching you also. No?
Absolutely,
like what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And, you don't need to tell them stories, or you
Right.
don't need to tell them, that, or you need to command them that you should do this.
Yeah,
you
they
should do
see
that.
your
They just
behavior.
see
Yeah,
your behavior,
yeah,
what you've been doing, how active you are with things.
absolutely.
And I think that is more important rather than just education.
Yeah, or just making them do the so-called short-term courses which are available 19 to the dozen these days. Also, I feel the women is the nucleus of the home. I always believe that she's the core, whether as a mother, sister, a daughter, or as a wife, because everything revolves around her. She's like the sun and all the planets are orbiting.
Yeah.
So whatever the core or the nucleus is giving out is going to be the light for the rest of the family. So it is very important for that core to be content, confident, and know where they're going in life.
And I mean, I can see that you have 3 kids, and the way still you've been, following your passion for fashion and, your career and everything. I mean, it's just hats off to you that you've been, in spite of having 3 kids, still you've been doing everything.
They're the one who pushed me to do more. So thankfully, they are raising me more than me raising them.
Yeah, because, we have like women, saying like with bahanas that, we don't have time, where to do all this.
Right.
But then I feel then if you have that passion,
Yeah.
I mean, there are no boundaries for it.
Yeah. Also, I want to say this because I think it will help a lot of other women. I have never had a formal office. I've always worked from home. Even with my writing, whether I do it for Delhi, Bombay, or Ahmedabad, or if I do it for international magazines, I can work from home, so it's flexi hours. So just do what you feel like doing, whether it's just watering the plant, but do what makes you happy and do it within the limits of your home. If at that point of time you can't go out of the house, it's fine. You know, you can pursue your passion from wherever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, family is important, but then definitely we can balance the family and our passion as well.
Yeah, totally. Living examples.
Yeah. Okay. So what advice would you give to someone pursuing multiple passions just like you? Like, what would you advise them?
Okay, I would ask them to ace at one thing and then give balance the rest of the time equally in the others. That way they'll be happy and content, because whatever they are very good at, they will be brilliant at. Like, I focused on my writing, I left everything else on the back seat. I was a complete recluse at that time. I even gave up on fashion and, wasn't pursuing it as a passion, which is now why I'm very enthusiastic and I enjoy it so much, because I have achieved whatever I wanted to in that one thing which I was very good at. Once you achieve whatever you think you are acing at, it's very easy to enjoy the rest of it that surrounds you. And also, you will find the time when the time is right, once you've completed that one thing on task. Because jack of all trades is a very good feat, but master of one is also important. Master of none se zyada master of one hona chahiye.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Ashleshaa, like, you've achieved so much over the years. You've known so many things and doing so many things together. So, over the years, like, what advice would you give to your younger self, knowing what you know now? And what would you have done differently in your career path?
All right. To my younger self, I would have said that it doesn't matter if you don't have a formal degree, because that was the foremost thing on my mind. I always thought that I would be going to the US like the rest of my siblings and getting my degree and going to a really fancy college and getting loads of certificates and pursuing like a very professional career.
Absolutely.
But I ended up doing and achieving a lot more than I ever expected or thought was possible. And it was only because I did not give up on my passion. So younger self would just be that, it doesn't matter if you don't have a degree. And I don't think anything other than my upbringing would have helped me in my present career. Whether it's fashion, my dad always taught me, even if you're going on a train ride, make sure you're properly dressed for it. So that also came right from home. So just spending time with the family and learning the rooted culture that our ancestors have given forward is just the main education that one should require in life to achieve anything.
Absolutely, I agree to it. So that was like, I don't even push my kids for studies.
Right.
I mean, the things that they have to learn, they have been learning. So I mean, I don't even push them for studies.
Life's lessons come from experience, not from the books. That's for sure.
Okay. So could you describe a typical day in your life? Like a typical day, like.
All right. So right now, I'm babysitting my mom-in-law. Unfortunately, she has advanced dementia. So she's become absolutely like a baby. So I'm raising one more baby now, all over again. So it generally begins from seeing my son off to school with a hot breakfast of his choice, because that's the only time of the day I cook. And then the rest of the time is mostly devoted to taking care of the new baby, or just reading and getting things organized, such as dental appointments or doctor's appointments, etc. Nothing much other than that in terms of spending the day at home. But right now there's a lot of research going on for hand woven, handloom and textile, because I'm planning a big book on the handloom textiles of Gujarat.
Okay.
The bad part about it is that I end up shopping for a lot of saris, which I don't know I'll live enough to wear. But it's a very interesting and a very deep subject, which is also not elaborately written about till now, because we have a lot of weaves which are very intricate and they've been inspired through architecture. And not a lot of people know about the intricacy of that. So I'm trying to organize research regarding that, as well as the man-made textile sector, which has also not been written about and is a very disorganized sector. So I'm trying to plan something which might make an impact on that industry now.
Wow. So we are going to get something.
So, rest of the day goes in research.
And also, I've seen a lot of stories of you. Balcony, there's a chai. And especially in rains.
Yeah. So that is the thought process time when I can, those ideas that you said are popping up in the mind, and I'm thinking with the me time. But like I said, that's the time I think, and I try to write about how I'm going to get this organized. So there's a lot of ideas, but for them to culminate into one proper subject is what is not fallen into place yet. So rest of the day goes in planning about the future writing.
And I think sometimes, a day at Ajiliyaa also.
Oh, a day at Ajiliyaa really brightens up the day. The only sad part, which I keep on telling you, a fantastic team as well, is that I'm in the process of a house shift soon. So I have no space in my wardrobe, but the minute you step into Ajiliyaa, all that goes haywire, and you're like, okay, ye bhi de do, wo bhi de do, ye bhi de do, uska bhi order kar lo, and you'll make it so convenient because you'll say, acha, ye size nahi aayega to koi baat nahi, we can make customize and make it to order. So that really makes life difficult. Organizing my wardrobe to fit in more clothes is what the rest of the evening goes into. Mission impossible.
But you have that eye to find the right outfits. Actually, I mean, I'm sure there must be people asking you about where did you get this and where did you get that. But then you have to get that eye. It's not that you shop brand, but then you got to have that eye for that, right?
See, there are two things there. One, you have a fabulous team which really advises correctly that okay, you're going to be looking really nice in this, or this is not meant for you. Second is, I know what doesn't look good on me. So I don't want to compete with the 16-year-olds or the 80-year-olds. I want to be 52 and dress up as a 52-year-old according to my body type. So because I know what looks good on me, I just stick to it. A lot of times Sneha makes fun of me because I'll say, yahi wala na sab color mein order kar do, because I literally do that. I like one outfit so much, I'll order it in all colors and I'll wear it like a uniform. I don't care. But I know it looks very good on me. So one, that 100% matters. It doesn't matter if it's the same style, but I don't let it get monotonous because I accessorize it differently so people don't come to know.
Absolutely, yeah. That is the best part. Okay. So, what's your favorite fashion trend of all time and why?
Okay, my favorite fashion trend would be sari, because you can wear it with pants, petticoats, skirts, and whatever you want. You can wear it with halter neck tops or off shoulders, traditional blouses, or a bikini top. And I think a sari is a trend which never goes out. Even recently at the Met Gala, we've seen Naomi Campbell wear a Chanel outfit which resembled a sari. And a lot of celebrities also chose the weave. Even Isha Ambani went into something which was a collaboration with a foreign designer as well as an Indian, but it was a look of a sari. So I think that's a quintessential drape which can be draped in any which way. We have recent sari gowns coming up and becoming very popular. And it's been something that our ancestors have been wearing, like our dadi saris are handed down, and it's something that repeats every 10 to 12 years. You have the same trend coming in, whether it's pathani or patolas or Banarasi weaves. And even when you go to greater designers like Sabyasachi, they will take in borders from old saris and add something new to it. So for me, the quintessential drape is a sari, and it's the most trendiest garment ever created by man.
I mean, you can never go wrong with a sari.
Absolutely.
And you can create so many looks, like a traditional look or a Western look as well. So you can never go wrong with a
Yeah,
sari.
and you can drape it in any which way. Girls are wearing it with sneakers, and I really feel happy because it's something that they are taking and adapting into their own modern life, and still wearing it. So that's like our handloom weavers are facing a lot of trouble now because of the changing fashion. But I think saris are something which will never go out of fashion. They'll be timeless, and it doesn't matter if you have a dadi, nani, par dadi ka sari. You can wear it with the right accessories and make it look like a very contemporary look.
Yeah. And you know what? I believe that there are no fashion trends.
Right.
I just wear what you like,
True.
And the way you carry it is more important.
Right.
So many times, people say, oh, ye to style mein nahi hai abhi, sharara is going on, or something like that. But then I feel everything is repeated after some time.
Absolutely.
But then you can still wear it at any time.
Right.
If you're liking it, you are comfortable in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can wear it and just
totally
carry it.
Because fashion is like music and haircut. Every few years, the same trend is repeated.
Yeah, repeated.
So if it's in the back of your wardrobe also, it can come in the front line. Like I said, if you accessorize it right. And I think you should spend on key pieces which are timeless. And that really helps in building your wardrobe to make it compatible with whatever will be in fashion.
Absolutely.
That one element will really,
with
make it
classic pieces.
Yeah.
That never go fad.
Right.
They never fad out, and you can just accessorize and carry it.
True.
Okay. Now, if I go with fashion, I mean, I can just...
I know. You can. They can go and take a break and come back again. ये लोग क्या बोलते रहेंगे.
Okay, so we did talk about some projects, but then some particular project that are currently working out right now.
Right now it's just research all the way, and the other very important project is my home because I'm shifting there, and every month I say it's 6 months because I'm great friends with my interior designer. Poor guy, he's from Bombay, but I'm a very patient person. So every day we go to the site and we say, "Acha, ye karna hai nahi, aise nahi karte, waise karte." So the whole plan changes, and the entire team is staring at us and giving us bad looks because they're saying these people are never going to get this project finished. So that is usurping a lot of my time right now, but it's a lot of fun, so I enjoy doing that. Yeah, that's the main project right now.
I'll be waiting for the new house.
Sure,
I can see all the creativity.
And I'm already short of space thanks to Ajiliyaa. I'll have to make my old home into a storage home. Only then things will fit in the new home. Apropos my wardrobe. Everything else is minimalistic. Sirf yahi out of proportion.
Yeah. Okay. So you have achieved a lot of success in your career so far. I mean, doing so many things, multi-talented. What goals do you still have? I mean, और क्या बाकी रह गया अब करने को?
Right now, there's nothing that I can think of that I want to achieve in terms of my professional life. I'm very content with what all I have done. With my personal life, I would like to be in a healthier state. So I think I should begin working on that because that's one thing that I'm very, very, very lazy about. And it's not just in terms of weight, but also in terms of coming to terms with what I can fit into a day, because I think I overtake responsibilities and by the end of the day I feel that, oh, okay, this was a little too much for today. Tomorrow I'll try to cut back a little bit. I think I'm too harsh on myself. I need to pay more attention to myself. So I'm going to try and focus on myself henceforth. That's the motto every morning, but it changes by the evening.
All right. So we had such an insightful talk. I mean, we got to know so many things. And now it's time for some games. Some fun time.
Okay.
And as you've been active on trends. So I'll be, the game is about Gen Z lingo. Let's test
that. Before we begin, I'll just tell you I don't appreciate it, but I have to accept it because abbreviations are something which writers don't like.
Right.
But you have to move with the times, so you better learn your Gen Z lingo. Let's see.
Okay, let's get started then.
Yeah.
Okay. FOMO?
Yeah, fear of missing out. I also know a lot of people who have FOMO. That would be the more interesting part. But then I wrote an article about it, which was called JOMO, which is joy of missing out. So I created that Gen Z language.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I think I think you are going to get all of them right. Okay. What does on fleek mean?
It would be like how I would describe your makeup right now.
Oh,
Perfect. Without a flaw.
look at this. Whom am I asking all this?
I mean, I'm sure she'll come up with some random words because she'll say, "ये सब मैं और देती हूँ, 4-5 और भेजते उधर से." It's okay, bring it on.
Okay. What does Gucci mean? Gucci.
Yeah. For me, it would ultimately mean a lot of bags, but also terms of fabulous or very nice.
Right.
Okay. Okay, if you say so.
What does yeet mean? Y-E-E-T.
Y-E-E-T. No, I'll give it a pass. I don't know what it means.
So that is like yeet, I got the job.
Oh, or like ye.
Cheer.
ये.
Cheer, yeah.
हमारे ज़माने में ना उसको ये बोलते
ये बोलते थे.
No, it's like yeet. Yeah. I better start reading my son's WhatsApp messages to learn more.
Okay. So, what do you mean by flex?
Flex as in like flex your muscles, like show off your, like flex your
Yeah.
abs or flex your muscles kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like to show something that you're proud of. Something that makes
so
you cool.
that word is from our zamana, but now they're using it in their own interpretation of the language, probably. Yeah.
Okay. So, what does woke mean?
Woke is being aware of your surrounding, but now we're also surrounded with a lot of overwoke people. Like, you know, okay, they know about this, that, and the other, but then they bring it in every subject. So, being woke is being aware, especially for social causes and things that involve liberalization. But there should be a balance to the amount of wokeness that people want to generate. They try and misuse the
You've got all of them correct.
Except yeet.
That's yeet.
No, yeet is ye. तो चलेगा.
Fabulous, yeah. I mean, where is the hamper, guys?
This helps with having young people at home.
Yeah. So now, I mean, I don't know about this, but I'm sure you must be knowing. Like, how aware are you about Surti slangs?
Surti slangs is one of my favorite topics. So most of it involves unmentionable body parts, which we will not, because it's a very decent interview right now. But there are a lot of Surti mottos of life and also sayings like Surya Asto, Surti Mas. And you know, a lot of we have a lot of different cultural communities like the Ghachi, Khatri, Golas, who are very happy-go-lucky and cheerful people. So they have a lot of slangs involved which are not mentionable right now, which I know of.
Yeah.
But
I mean, then it'll go beep, beep,
yes.
beep.
So we'll avoid that for now, but we can have a separate naughty session for that with only a lot of beeps going on.
Yeah.
All the ones that I know are quite adult to be mentioned. So we'll give it a skip.
You're not missing out on anything.
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, there is no question
tick,
that
tick.
you are not aware of.
बचपन में परीक्षाएं नहीं दी ना इसलिए अभी full marks के लिए trophy जीतेंगे.
Okay. So now another game.
Okay.
First word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Okay. So heritage.
Invaluable. Priceless.
Right. Passion.
Fashion.
Fashion. Dreams.
Achieved.
Inequality.
Unacceptable.
Money.
Should be earned.
Surat's fort.
Future of all heritage.
Wow. Psychology.
Mind game.
Community.
Gathering in equality.
Red carpet.
Oh. Look of the day.
Yes. Bombay.
Hometown.
Hometown. You've been missing hometown.
Yeah, missing hometown always.
Fashion.
Passion. That made it
Yeah.
easy.
Ajiliyaa.
Mecca of modern fashion.
So thank you so much. It was such an insightful session. I mean, to know about Surat and so many things. And I mean, you are actually a Google, a live Google or an encyclopedia that we could say. I mean, and a dictionary as well.
Thank you so much for having me, because it was an absolute pleasure and I didn't mind revealing all my secrets today.
So that's a wrap on this episode of Women of Ajiliyaa podcast. We had a blast chatting with Ashleshaa Khurana. We salute you for your contribution to Surat and being someone we all look up to. Thank you so much, Ashleshaa. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we can't wait to bring you more fun and inspiring conversations in the next episode. So stay tuned and keep spreading the love. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media to stay in the loop for upcoming episodes. Take care.